Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Robbie the Painter. I'm Robbie, and today I'm sitting on a stool in front of my easel. And we have a 16 by 20 pre-stretched canvas, and I thought we would do a seascape, some sort of ocean painting. Haven't done, I think we did one other one. This one's going to be a little different. And what we've got going so far, we're going to be starting with some black gesso, and we're going to do a horizon line. And I have a measuring tape and some blue painter's tape that we're going to start off with. So what we're going to do with the measuring tape, let's get started on this. We're just going to measure down, figure out how much sky we want, how much ocean. Get a pencil. Let's bring our measuring tape over here. Let's come down about 5.5 inches. You decide how much sky you want. 5.5. 5.5. So I'm using a pot pie container. My wife likes chicken pot pies, and I save the containers. Use it for black gesso, liquid clear, linseed oil, stuff like that. Just a throwaway container. You can wipe these out and reuse them too. Now we could take a ruler and draw a line across and connect these marks that we made at 5.5 inches down. I'm just gonna eyeball it. I'm gonna eyeball it and get some black gesso on here, and we're gonna do a horizon line. And I'm gonna come underneath my lines so I can see where the paint is actually applying and move up to the line, and I'm going to come across, basically. So I'm moving up towards the line, come across, touch that one, and clean it up a little bit. And we have a horizon line. Just that quick. Okay. We're also, this is going to be our sea area, and some of this I want a little darker than the other parts. So we're going to, let's see. I'm going to come down, use some vertical strokes, and come down like this. And let this feather. I kind of want a feathered look on this. A little bit longer on the sides, a little more black gesso. Kind of in a little arch is what we're doing. Just gonna, all right, something like that. Now we are going to do some drawing today, and we're going to start that here in a second. If you guys want to trace a sea creature into this part here, you can do that. You find some free photos online, print them out. And what I've done in the past, I started doing some experimenting with tracing. I don't have one of those tracers. You could buy one of those if you wanted. It projects an image on here, and you can kind of pencil it in and that. But what I've done in the past is with a printed, subject matter, you put it behind your canvas and a flashlight or some sort of, hold it up to a lamp, and you'll see your image coming through on this side. And then you can take a pencil and trace it. A little harder to do than one of those tracing machines that projects it, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. So let's grab, I think we're going to use a liner brush, possibly our flat brush. All right, let's start with a flat brush, and we are going to draw some shapes here. And let's see, I think right about here just draw. We're going to do a killer whale. That's what we're going to do. So I have a picture on my phone. If I can get it to stay on. And down this way. And over here on this side. Let's see. Roughly look like a killer whale. And they've got a pretty wide fin at the tail fin, so we're going to make that fairly wide. Okay. And then as I look at my picture, I'm going to adjust my little drawing here. Looks like he might be a little bigger than, a little more weight to him. And I'll probably switch to the liner brush here as we start to get more into the detail and stuff. This fin, make this fin just a little farther out. Like that. I also have white gesso. We're going to be using white gesso. I didn't run the colors yet that we're using today. I usually do that at the beginning, but it's okay. We'll run them now. After we're done with our gesso, which we're going to use black and white, and probably a combination of both to make a gray, then we'll switch over to oil paints once this is dry. So I'm going to run those right over here. Those are our paints that we're going to use today. I think this is the dorsal fin. They have a pretty tall dorsal fin. Okay. That looked good for a basic shape. I'll clean up the edges over here. And again, if you want to trace, find a picture and trace, and then fill in with paint, you can do that. I was never a painter when I was younger. I used to do some drawing and sketching and stuff like that. I don't know that I was very good as far as my pencil drawings, but I used to have fun doing it. And killer whales are black and white. So that's why I have some white gesso. We're gonna fill in where we need to. I'm gonna go back to my flat brush. We'll just fill him all in black right now. And we'll come back and put his spots and features on him. All right, I think that's good for that one. Maybe we'll put another one in the photo as well. So let's put one in over here. Okay, we're going to let the black gesso dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to add some white gesso to our little pot pie container opposite of where you poured the black in. Put it on the other side because we're going to mix. We want to keep them separate in case we need to go back into the black. Keep the white separate because we're going to be adding straight white, but we're going to also mix up a little bit of gray. So we're going to have the black and the white mix. So we'll be back in a few minutes when this is dry. Okay, we're back. And I think most of this is dry. Remember, you wash your brushes in warm water with the black gesso. Unlike oil paints, which don't do very well in water. Although I have heard some people wash their brushes with soapy water. Some painters do that. But definitely with the gessos, warm water cleans your brushes. And we're ready to start applying some of the white areas to our whales. The thing about killer whales, the pictures I've looked at when I look at marine photos and reference photos, even when I did my sketch here, was these markings are different on all of them, and that they can all have their own unique markings. We're going to say that one. First mark looks like that. And we're just going to draw like a semi-circle, half circle here, and then fill it in. And then down here on the tail fin, kind of feathers out here. Got some white on the underneath side. We're going to say that we're looking at the underneath side of this tail fin. Fill in on this one, our second killer whale. It's mixing a little bit with the black, making more of a gray. Okay. They're underwater, so it's going to have a little bit of shadow on it. We're looking at the top of this tail, so it's going to be all black. Let's see, dip into a little more white. And come up here and the white part comes kind of over and touches this fin. So we're gonna make our shape like that. I hope it turns out looking like a whale. And then we've got another feature marking. It looks something like this. And again, this mark is different on every whale, so we're just going to draw a shape. This will be his marking up on his back. Hope you guys enjoy this. I thought this would be something different. You know, when we do the landscapes and we do all that stuff, but I like different sometimes. I like creating stuff out of my own mind and not looking at somebody else's photo. So, you know, I looked at some pictures online of what killer whales looked at. I sketched out a few on my own, and I'm going off of my own sketch. So if these are wrong, it's because I goofed up. I think they're okay. I think this will be all right. All right, let's come down to this little guy and put a couple marks on him. Now, as I look at the biggest one here, I'm not liking this area down here at the bottom. So we're going to let's redo this. This needs to be darker down here. Should have a little bit of water here so I could rinse it, but it's all right. Just going to wipe that black off, go into the straight white gesso. And we're going to come a little higher with this mark. A little bit higher. So start up here. Start up here and come around. anything else. I know some of these edges are a little rough. You know, went a little over on some of these. That's okay. We'll clean this fin up here just a little bit. Make it a little sharper. Sharpen this fin up just a little bit. When I say sharpen, I just mean the edges. Doesn't necessarily need to be a sharp point at the end of the fin. Some of these fins actually are rounded. I'm just cleaning up. Like this one up here needs to have a little more definition here. Just kind of lean back. You know, I always say stand back and look at what you're doing. You may see something and that you need to fix, or you like it. That's always good when you get it right the first time. I usually don't. I have to do what I'm doing now, and that's just come back and adjust. Make some adjustments. And if you're not very good at drawing, you know, I'm usually not good at animals or people. I've never been good at animals or people. I'm okay with some of this stuff. But if you don't do any drawing at all, try what I was saying. Project an image on there and trace it out, or print something out, you know, on a paper, put that behind your canvas and shine a light behind both of them. And it'll project the image on your canvas, and you can pencil that in. You know, tape your picture to the back of the canvas, and then get a light. Use a table or something, set the light on the table and put your canvas. That way you've got two free hands and you can trace that. Where there's a will, there's a way. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think this is pretty good. I know I'm getting gray here in my water area, but there's some sea life and plant life I think we're going to add into this that I didn't do in my original sketch drawing. I think we're going to add some. Maybe you can see a little bit of the ocean floor down below. So I think at this time, that's what we're going to do. I like the killer whales. I hope you guys do too. Let's add some other stuff into this. So I've got the white and I've got the black. We're gonna, right where they meet, we're gonna mix up a little bit of gray. And maybe not mix it up really well, leave it a little marbled so there's black streaks and white streaks in there. Yeah, on my liner brush, got a little bit of white, a little bit of black gesso. I want some seaweed stuff here. Stuff that's coming up from the ocean floor, so. The indication of some stuff coming up. Maybe. I don't see it as much back here. Just here and there. And I'm just making little loops and coming up from the bottom up, and then kind of making a little loop at the top. Again, we don't need a whole lot of definition on if this is the seaweed stuff coming up. Just the indication that there's some of this going on. Maybe some stuff back here in the back we can't really not defined. And if we get into our killer whale, that's okay. We'll fix it. All right. Just an indication of some floating stuff down here, maybe attached to the seabed. Oh, maybe there's something sunken back here, down at the bottom. Maybe. Maybe there's something sunken. Down by the ocean floor. Some sort of ancient statue, and the head of the statue. Buried in the ocean floor. And we'll just throw some stuff down here, make a little ground. I'm connecting, these are popping up over the top of the killer whale. I'm making the bottoms of that seaweed right now. And oh no, I got into my killer whale. It's okay. It's all right. Let's wipe off our brush. Let's tackle the white part first. And come back in here and clean up. That part. So this means he's swimming in front of that. Any other white parts we need to clean up? Maybe this down here. That comes all the way down underneath him. Okay. So he's swimming in front of some of this stuff. I'm just gonna take my finger and kind of rub this statue head or whatever it is. Not a real defined face, but it's like the head of an ancient civilization. Maybe there's some statue down here. Maybe we can add a little more hair to the statue. Some of these statues had hair carved in marble. Darker down here by the sea floor. Okay. I think that's good. Oh, we got to fix. We got into this area of our whale. I'm just going to follow this right down his nose and fix it. Okay. Here on his fin. Just kind of look over everything you've done. At this point, we're just checking stuff before we move on to the next step, which will be our oil paints. I think we're done. We're done with the gesso part of this. Hope you guys are digging this so far. I know I'm having fun with it. Okay, we're gonna be back in about 10-15 minutes. Let this dry. Okay, we're back. And as you can see, I went to go wash my brushes out and I just couldn't help myself. I saw a couple other things. I put a little concrete hand down here at the bottom, added some more seaweed stuff, and I came over here and put a crack in the bottom of the sea floor. And I did another episode called The Road Less Traveled. If you want to learn how to do these cracks in your paintings, I don't know if your painting calls for it, but if you want to learn how to do a crack in your landscape or road or just the ground, go watch that episode, The Road Less Traveled, and show you how to do that kind of thing. I think we're going to start with the sky. And I don't know exactly what I want to do. I've got kind of an idea of just distant hills and stuff like that. Our main focus is going to be this, the ocean part of this painting. So with that in mind, let's go with a 1-inch brush, and let's come into, other thing, very important fact. We put no liquid white or anything on this canvas. This is a dry canvas. The only thing we put on so far is black and white gesso. So our paints are not gonna blend very well because we don't have liquid white up there. So we're gonna use, I've got a little pot pie container with some linseed oil. So we're gonna be using some linseed oil as our medium. They call that a medium, something you use to blend your paints with. So we're going to be using linseed oil. So what we're going to do, I think our sky color is going to be phthalo. No, I'm going to go a little bit of Prussian. And grab some titanium white. We're going to dip into a little linseed oil. And we'll probably have to keep going back to the linseed oil. And I kind of want to lighten this sky up. So we're going to start dark like this and lighten up as we go farther down. Grab some more titanium white. If things aren't moving across your canvas, dip into a little linseed oil. Yeah. Just be careful how much you get on there. It will run, and your paints will run off your canvas if you're not careful. So worst case scenario is if you get too much on there, grab a paper towel, wipe it, and you're probably not going to mess your painting up at all. Might even make your sky look a little cooler and give you some texture and stuff in there. Just going to come down here to our horizon line. And let's see, stand back. I think we're going to grab a little sap green, a little Indian yellow, little titanium white, and just kind of mix that on the brush. We want a light greenish yellow. I'm going to do some distant hills back here. Nothing real defined. In fact, that's a little too bright, a little more white in there. Just making some shapes, coming across. This will be another horizon line. Okay, you see how we've got different colors. I didn't mix that Indian yellow and the sap green and the titanium white up really well, and it gives you some really cool stuff happening. You get all kinds of different colors instead of one solid green or one solid yellow. We've got all this cool stuff going on. So now I'm just going to go back and forth with my fan brush and blend a little bit of this. Let's grab our liner brush and let's come into a little bit of sap green, little tiny bit of titanium white. Just want to keep the green dark. I'll lighten it up just a little bit. I think we're going to put in a few distant trees back here. Just some shapes. And I'm using the liner brush. You could use the fan brush to create a different effect. Show you what I mean. Let's come into the sap green. And I'm not dipping into any linseed oil, just gonna. But if we wanted to give the indication of some distant trees back here, we just touch. Or you could use the side of your fan brush. Just touch here and there. And then maybe give it some ground to stand on by coming across underneath them. Changes up the look a little bit. Come under here and give these something to stand on. This is what we did with the liner brush. Maybe there's something back here. A little bit bigger clump of trees or something going on. Kind of went through our white area, but that light part goes behind that. It just helps to give you a different depth and planes that are going on. Different planes. We're layering different areas. He's missing some branches. This guy's had a hard life. Still fighting the good fight. When you're making your trees, maybe I'll do a short video on trees. I'm no expert, obviously. You don't have to fill in every, it doesn't have to look like a triangle with everything filled in. You want to see some stuff going on behind it. That gives you your depth and your distance. Okay, I think we're going to keep this fairly simple like that. Let's wash off our fan brush. And remember, we wash our brushes when you're using oil paints in odorless paint thinner or odorless mineral spirits. You want to make sure it's odorless. I don't want you passing out and that while you're watching me trying to paint. The top of this water, we're going to make Prussian blue, and the bottom part, we're going to go with phthalo. So we are going to grab some Prussian blue, quite a bit on our brush, dip into a little linseed oil so we can make it move around. We're going to come across this horizon line right here with Prussian blue and linseed oil. Okay, I'm going to stand back, fairly straight. Okay, now that I've got a line here at the top, I can start filling in a little bit more Prussian blue, a little linseed oil. I'm just going to scrub this in at the top where we put this black gesso. Come down the sides. Come down the sides. Bring that down. Hope this turns out like I think it will. I don't know. We're going to find out, you and me, right now, if this is going to work. A little more linseed oil, Prussian blue. And again, if you get too much linseed oil, stand to the side and look at the glare off of your painting. See if it looks like anything's running. Linseed oil will make it look wet. That's the whole idea, is we're giving our paint something to mix with and blend and move around. But you don't want it. You don't want to see drips. We're going to stay away from this killer whale right in the center for right now. We'll come down around him with Prussian blue. And we're going to stop right where the black gesso stops with our Prussian blue. From there, we're going to pick up with the phthalo blue here in just a second. Get your linseed oil on there and just grab a little tiny bit. I want this area lighter up here, and it can get darker down here by the sea floor. The idea is, and obviously the ocean's going to be really deep, but if we're near the shore, maybe we can see the bottom right in here. So you're going to do a little test down here. And okay. As the paint starts coming off your brush and you get less and less, we'll go into the linseed oil and move this around. That way we can keep it a little lighter. And if it's too dark in some places, I'll show you how we can lighten that up. Keep coming into this phthalo blue. A little more linseed oil. In fact, I could probably use linseed oil the rest of the way and just make this phthalo blue stretch out a little bit here. You can hear I'm really scrubbing this, going right over our killer whales because they are underwater. A little more linseed oil. I'm probably going to wipe this all down with a paper towel here in a second because I'm putting quite a bit of linseed oil on, and I'm sure that we probably got some runs somewhere. But now that Prussian blue is kind of fading down. Prussian blue is a darker blue, fading down into this phthalo, which is a little lighter. We're going to bring that, just kind of blend that Prussian blue down. A little more linseed oil. You get all this covered with the phthalo blue. Okay, I moved the camera in a little bit and I turned off one of my ring lights because I realized that there was glare going on right across here. With the linseed oil being, glary, because the canvas is all wet, it's hard to get rid of 100% of that, but we are going to. Hopefully that looks a little bit better. Just finish up here, up and down. And I think, let's see what happens if I take a paper towel. I don't want to wipe it all off. Just trying to get some of the linseed oil. Now that I've got color on here, wipe the oil off. Now take our that fan brush, wipe it off a little bit, and we can kind of feather that out. Go back across. Maybe a little more phthalo blue down here, right by this crevice. And where this seaweed's starting to grow out. Let's start out with the liner brush. That fan brush is just a little too stiff. Liner brush, titanium white. We're just going to make little rocking motions going across our water. And come out here, little rocking motions. When I say rocking motions, kind of a crescent, like this. Down this way, back that way, down this way, back that way. Some of these back here need to be a little smaller. We'll add in some smaller shapes here. Getting closer to the shore back here, so farther away from our eye. Back to our rocking motion. And putting in some waves. I'll leave this edge over here kind of dark. I'm not going to put a whole lot over on this other edge either. We'll leave both sides a little dark. We're coming into some midnight black. And over here. Around there. Okay. Like that. We're going to draw on this, the under part of the killer whale here. I'm going to start up by his nose. Sometimes my hands are shaking. It's hard to get a straight line. All right. Somewhere around there. Grab some more white. Just using straight titanium white. Now it's mixing with the black and the blue that's on here, along with the linseed oil. Let's go to our other feature on here, which is something like that. Something like that shape. And again, the pictures I looked at when I was looking at sea life a while back, never thought I'd be painting. I just try to stay away from animals and people. I just haven't been that good. But when I was looking at them, they all have their individual patterns and markings on them and that. So I don't think you can go wrong by drawing any kind of a shape, you know. See what you see and that, and do your best to draw them. Okay. What we're going to do now is take our, now let's go to that flat brush, come into a little bit of titanium white. Not sure I like this flat brush for this. It's making me nervous. I don't want to get into our whale here. Okay, back to the liner brush. I'll just feel more comfortable with it. You guys use whatever brush you want that you feel comfortable with. But I'm going to bring the water right around our whale. He's popping his head up above the water. Okay. Put a few more waves in here. Things going on. Ocean is busy today. A lot going on. I'm guessing the waves are going in towards the shore, so we could even do like a little swell that's happening heading in, and then we'll pull it back this way. That kind of looks like we can see the top of that wave that's starting to go over. Now we could put another one. Maybe over here. Yes, another one. And we'll just pull back. Kind of blend that white back towards us. Gives the impression, if we kind of bring our brush strokes down like this, away from the wave, that we've got a high part of the wave up here at the top, and I'll put a little more titanium white at the top to kind of define this foamy area. Getting ready to break. Add a little more stuff going on right around our main friend here, popping up out of the water. A little brighter white. Then we'll feather it out this way and over, and let this get dark and disappear out here. Dark sienna, titanium white. Let's see what happens if we follow our horizon line. It's probably going to pick up some blue, so let's wipe that off. Might need to do a liner brush. We'll see. Kind of draw across, grab some more brown. Right across, like there's a shoreline here. Okay, let's wipe that off again. Not too bad for a start. Let's come into that brown, little white, dark sienna, white. Maybe a little more of a beach back here. And then it gets thinner in some spots. And with it mixing with a little bit of this blue right at the water line, it might look like a transparent, like the water's coming up on the shore and you can see through it to the brown, the sand. I don't know, I think that's what it looks like to me. Who knows? Who knows? All right. Got some titanium white. I'm just going to lighten this up a little bit here. We'll keep this top edge of this brown darker. Just adding some lightness to our shoreline. We don't have to go all the way across or put this everywhere, but here and there, and then you stand back and you look, see what you like. Okay, I like that. Let's grab our liner brush and I think it's still dirty, but that's okay. Come into a little midnight black. A little bit of midnight black, maybe a touch of the linseed oil to thin it. And come under here and there. At the top of this beach. We're going to darken this, make a little shadow, as if the ground that's coming from this greenery comes up to the beach, and there's a little lip on it. Well, if there's a lip, this would be dark underneath this grass area. Not everywhere, but in a couple spots. So we're going to put it in a couple spots. I know I said I was going to leave this dark over here. I think I want to just add a little more wave stuff here. Yeah. And you know what? Let's give the shoreline a little water break here where it's hitting the shore. Here and there, we're going to put on some titanium white, fairly thick. It's wanting to mix with the other colors, so I keep going back and grabbing more titanium white. Just want it to look like the water's hitting the shore. Maybe over here. A little bit. Foamy stuff and the water's hitting, rolling up on this shore. I think we're ready to sign this thing. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let's pick a color. Maybe. Well, let's go into this white mix. It's got all kinds of different colors and blue and everything else. Let's come down here into the corner. And grab some more. Okay, we have a sign painting. Put my paint palette down. Thank you guys so much. Something different, something out of our heads, just thinking about stuff and what ifs. You know, can we see under the water? If I had other gesso or acrylic colors, we could have done some green and some tans and, you know, made it, you know, you can experiment at home with that kind of thing. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.